Hi there. My name is Alexandra Jones, and I would like to tell you about my journey with Global Competency. So, first off, I'd like to outline my ambitions of when I was young, the ideas that I had around globalism and global understanding. So, when I was very young, I I was in a small town, not too small, around 200,000 people, and I didn't really have much of an opportunity to experience other cultures and other other people who came from outside of my town and my community and my small religious community there. So I was really curious and really interested to know about people outside of North America, outside of North American culture. So when I got old enough, when it was time for my high school to finish, I then decided to take a big step to go from my town in Ontario and try to do my post-secondary education in Vancouver, actually. So it was a big leap, and I was kind of desperate. I was kind of desperate to travel, so I thought that the best thing I could do was travel to Vancouver. So this was very far away from my home, and it was quite difficult for me to adapt, and I found it to be quite a different culture actually than where I came from, and I was really culture shocked even within Canada. After I had a few years in Vancouver, I decided that I really wanted to try to improve my French ability. It was always a passion of mine, studying French in school and just a general interest to learn languages. I really was curious about languages, and I still am. And so I decided to make a leap and go over to Montreal to see how the culture was over there. So upon arriving to Montreal, it was another big culture shock and a difficult time because I didn't speak French, really. I had learned it in school, but I wasn't fluent. So after about a year of trying to speak French in Montreal, I decided that it would be better for me to go over to France. So I went over to France and I stayed with some friends over there in a kind of yoga ashram. So I managed to stay there with little cost and interact with people constantly, which was really beneficial. I greatly improved my French within 3 months, and then I came back to Montreal and I was able to work. And so throughout this time, I also made my way through with trips over to Holland or the Netherlands, and somewhere throughout that time I actually had my first trip to India, where I went with a good friend of mine from Canada to attend her son's wedding. So that was a really fun and interesting experience for me to travel around India with her and also attend her son's wedding. And since that time, I've been over to India 2 other times. So it's one of my favorite places, and I really hope I can go again and many more times. After Montreal, some things happened in my life, and I decided to try to go over to the UK to try it out, to see how I would make out in London, to see maybe if I could move there, immigrate there. In the end, it didn't work out. I stayed about a year in London, and during that time in London, I actually, through some friends of mine, I went for a trip to the Ukraine, and I ended up meeting someone in the Ukraine, and we ended up getting married and so I ended up coming to the Ukraine. And about 7 months after being in Ukraine in 2018, I decided that it was very difficult for me to live in the Ukraine, which has changed now. I have become more adapted to Ukrainian culture now after being married to a Ukrainian for over 2 years. But at that time, it was difficult. So my husband and I decided, hey, let's go teach English abroad in China. So again, another adventure, and we were in China for about a year, almost a year exactly, when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, and we decided, okay, let's go back home to mom, or my husband's mom, in Ukraine. So since, let's see, January 2020, we have been back in Ukraine with the family here and teaching English. And then when the quarantine came over here, we started to teach online, and that's been a real treat for me because with teaching online, I have students from all over the world. I have students from Saudi Arabia, I have students from China, I have Chinese Canadian students, I have Spanish students, Italian students, Mexican students, and all different sorts of people who I can chat with and learn about their culture, and it's been really, really interesting. And I'm really happy to have this job. I think that global competency is something that I wish everybody would try to have, because I think if everybody were to be really globally competent and aware, that it would save a lot of the conflicts in the world. I think that a lot of cultural clashing and things are the reason for a lot of the problems in the world.
Hi, so my video got cut off there when I was outside, but I wanted to say that if everyone in the world could be a bit more globally competent, that it would save so many problems in the world, because so many problems in our world are due to lack of understanding about other people and lack of wanting to be harmonious with people who are different from us. So I think if everyone could be more globally competent and embrace a sense of harmony and understanding, that our world would be a lot of a better place. So I thank you for watching my video, and I hope that it can encourage you to be more globally competent and curious about different places in the world if you're not already. So that's all I want to say, and bye bye. See you. Good night.